The next morning, Manav was sitting peacefully at the dining table. All the Sarpanch had prepared breakfast. They were all waiting for Siya, who had not yet come down, ready for breakfast. Seeing this, Manav looked at Leela Ji and said, "Please, go and check if she is ready or not." Hearing his words, Leela Ji said, "Baba?" And as she went towards the stairs, suddenly her steps halted. Everyone heard the sound of footsteps approaching them, perhaps running. Everyone's gaze instinctively turned that way, but their eyes stopped there. Siya was coming from the front. At that moment, she was wearing a simple mini black skirt and a white crop top. She had white sneakers on her feet, a smart watch on her wrist, and her hair tied in a high ponytail. There was no makeup on her face, just a light lip balm. With a bag on her shoulder and an ID card in her hand, she was quickly descending the stairs. While looking at everyone, she hurriedly said, Sorry. I got late today. Sorry for making you all wait." Saying this, she placed her bag on the sofa and rushed to her seat. Only then did everyone come to their senses, and they were still looking at her. But then they felt a lot of pressure and someone's dangerous gaze upon them. When they looked at their dangerous boss sitting a little distance away, they panicked. Because those dangerous eyes were shining with intentions that seemed deadly. Seeing this, everyone quickly scattered here and there. Leela Ji stepped forward to serve breakfast to both of them and stood aside. Today, the breakfast was also made according to Sia's preference. A favorite chocolate milkshake and some cookies and brownies were on the menu. Seeing this, Siya became even happier and hugged Leela Ji standing next to her, saying, "You are the best. Today, you made my day." Hearing Siya's words, Leela Ji said, "If you want to thank someone, thank Manav Baba, because he ordered all this to be made. We just prepared it." Upon hearing this, Siya looked at Manav with wide eyes and then turned to Leela Ji, asking, "Is it true?" Leela Ji nodded in affirmation. Seeing this, Siya raised one eyebrow and looked at Manav, but Manav, as if completely ignoring her, was enjoying his salad and healthy juice. Seeing this, Siya said nothing and quietly started having her favorite breakfast. Then, taking a bite, she said, "By the way, I can't believe, Kaduz, that you did all this. But if Leela Auntie said so, it must be true." Then she looked at Manav, who was staring at her. Seeing this, Siya flashed a smile and said, "Thank you very much for giving me such a tasty breakfast and for giving me a day off from those boiled vegetables. Thank you so much." Manav was still looking at her with an emotional expression. He did not react much to her antics. Wiping his mouth with a napkin, he said, "It was just today. And if you want to act like this, I'm leaving." Hearing this, Siya quickly said, No. Sorry. Wait a minute. What did you say? You're leaving? If you go, who will drop me to the university. Upon hearing her question, Manav said, "Looking at your antics right now, I didn't think it was necessary. I thought you would go with your Leela auntie." Siya said nothing and quickly stood up, wiping her mouth. She picked up her bag from the sofa, went to Leela Ji, kissed her on the cheek, and said, "Bye, Auntie. Let's meet after I come back, and please make something tasty again." And as she was leaving, she said, "Kaduz, come quickly. I don't want to be late on the first day. You know I like everything on time." Saying this, she hurriedly ran away without looking back. Seeing her antics, both Leela Ji and the servants working there smiled lightly, because she was Siya, who had the courage to talk like this with their devilish boss and act like this with him. But they all liked it very much. Manav lowered his head and adjusted his blazer as he stood up from his place. He then walked outside. When he got into the car, he saw that the driver was in his seat. Dhruv was sitting in the passenger seat, next to him, and Siya was comfortably sitting in the back seat with her bag. Manav sat down next to Siya. As soon as he sat down, the convoy of cars started moving from there, but Siya did not want to draw everyone's attention on the first day. So she told Manav to take only his car near the university and ask everyone else to stop somewhere nearby. She was saying that Manav should give the order to do as she said, because she understood what he was saying. Seeing this, Siya became happy and, teasingly, said to Manav, "What's the matter, Kaduz? I've been watching you since morning. Getting my favorite breakfast made, agreeing to my requests, and not getting angry with me. What's going on?" To which Manav replied, "If you say one more word, I will throw you out of the car right now." He said this without looking at Siya while checking emails on his laptop. His threat worked, and Siya sat quietly. Because Manav was not one to joke around, he could actually do it. After a while, their car stopped in front of the university entrance gate. Seeing this, Siya felt a bit nervous, but then composed herself and looked at Manav. And for some reason, she stared at him intently. But Manav did not respond much. Seeing this, Siya got annoyed and said to Dhruv, "Bye, Dhruv, bye." And just as she was about to open the car door to get out, Manav grabbed her hand and pulled her towards him. Siya was not prepared for this, so she almost fell into his lap. This shocked the three people sitting there, apart from Manav. Just as Siya was about to get up, Manav held her by the waist and made her sit back down. He gave her a warning look with his eyes. Understanding this, Siya sat quietly. Then, as if extending his hand towards Dhruv, Dhruv handed him a mobile. Taking the mobile, he seemed to extend it towards Siya. Initially, Siya was feeling a bit uncomfortable in such a situation, but upon seeing the mobile, she forgot everything and became excited. Holding it in her hand, she started looking at it, because Siya needed a smartphone. When she was at home, she didn't need it much, and if she had to do something, she had her laptop. And her old phone was not that good. She had a feeling that Manav would do something like this. But when she saw that Manav was not giving her any leeway, she was quietly getting down. Manav surprised her again. She became so excited upon seeing the mobile that she hugged the smuggler Manav. At that moment, she was sitting in his lap, claiming him. Then pulling back a little, she kissed him on the cheeks and said, "You are the best. You are the best. You are the best. Cadews." Then, as if still holding Siya in his lap, gently caressing her face with one hand, he said in a low emotional voice, "You are going to university for studies, so there's no need to jump around too much here and there, and there's no need to make too many friends, especially keep your distance from boys. If there's any problem, my number is in the mobile. Call me on that. Don't go doing anything on your own. If I even get a hint that you are not listening to what I told, your college days will be over from that day." She opened her mouth to say something, but he seemed to silence her, saying, "And I'm not asking you this. I'm telling you. So don't even think about arguing. Otherwise, I'll drop you straight back home from here. So, understand my words well. Just focus on your studies and stay away from boys. If there's any problem, just call me, okay?" To this, Sia made a strange face and nodded her head twice. Then, making a cute face, she said, "If your instructions are over, can I go now? Otherwise, I'll be late on the first day." Hearing her words, Manav glanced at her face and then, going to the side, lifted her off his lap. Sia didn't make much of a fuss and got out of the car. She looked back at Manav once, who was looking at her. Seeing this, she smiled, waved goodbye, and went inside the gate. Manav looked at Dhruv and said, "The arrangements I mentioned will be made." To which Dhruv replied, "Yes. There are 2 female bodyguards inside who will keep an eye on Madam all the time. If anything happens, they will handle it. Don't worry about Madam." To this, Manav said nothing and instructed the driver to head straight to Bajaj Industries. The driver quickly turned the car and drove away from there. Since the moment Sia entered the university, students passing by were all looking at her. Everyone had different emotions on their faces. Boys were ogling at Sia, while girls were glaring at her with fiery eyes. Because since she had entered, there had not been a single boy who was not checking her out. Ignoring all this, Sia started looking for her class. She was currently in the first year, second semester of BBM, and she was searching for her class. Just then, she spotted a teacher there, so she asked them. After the teacher directed her, Sia thanked them and moved on. When she reached outside the classroom, she saw that all the students were seated in their places, and a female teacher was sitting with them. When the teacher's gaze fell on Sia, she recognized her and came outside to bring Saya in. As Saya entered the classroom, all eyes turned to her. The boys' hearts raced at her beauty, and her eyes added an extra charm to that beauty. The teacher brought Sia to the podium and, looking at all the students, said, "Students, meet her. This is Sia. She will be studying with us from today. I hope you all will take care of her." Then, looking at Sia, she said, "Please, choose a place for yourself and sit there." Seeing this, Sia scanned the entire classroom. Almost all the seats were full, except for 2 benches in the last row, which were next to each other. Siya walked towards one of them and sat down. Seeing her sitting there, the girls who had been quiet due to the class teacher suddenly started talking. They were saying, "Poor thing. She's going to cry and leave the class on the very first day. Now let's see what happens with her." Those girls were definitely in the mood to enjoy the situation. They were making different comments while looking at Siya. All their faces had a different kind of expression. The teacher's face also changed a bit. She was unsure about how to talk to Siya and what to say. What had happened that made everyone start talking about Siya, and why did the expressions on the teacher's face change? Nah,